Hello, backgammon fans. I want to talk about Kifu. So, Kifu is a service that automatically transcribes video recordings of your backgammon matches. It's a paid web service that's made by Masahiro Kisono of Japan. You can check out the Kifu website at kifu.me. That's the web address. Important to know, I'm not affiliated with Kifu. I didn't make Kifu. That's Masahiro made that. I'm just a regular user of Kifu and a big fan of it. I definitely comes highly recommended by me. So the purpose of this video is for me to try to explain the process of using Kifu. I'd like to break it down into a few steps. So the steps are, first, you're going to record your match in high definition using an ordinary camera, or you can use a Kifu app that's on your phone, iPhone or Android. You'll then upload the video to the Kifu website. Wait a little while for Kifu to transcribe your match. And when that's over, you can ask Kifu to email you a text transcription of your match, which you can then import into your favorite bot. For me, that would be Extreme Gammon. It is important to note that Kifu is not always 100% accurate. You may need to do some editing of the text file that Kifu sends you. All right, let's go through these steps and see how Kifu works. Let's take a look at the video that I recorded. This is the match that we're going to put into Kifu. Let me play it a little bit. So notice that I made an attempt to record the video in such the way that the board takes up the entire window. I did an okay job of this. Notice at the bottom here, I could have done a little bit better by framing the board a little better, but not bad. So I guess I could have put my camera a little bit lower, but I think I did all right. You definitely want it so that you can see all of the board. You want to be able to see the corners, and you want it to be straight. That is, you want the top and the bottom to not be crooked. I'm a little bit crooked at the bottom, but not too bad overall. Notice that the lighting is pretty good. You can see the dice all right. There's a 4 and a 3. Kifu is going to be looking for those things. It's not going to be looking for your clock. When the doubling cube comes up, it is going to be looking for that. So all in all, this is a pretty good video, not great. Okay, let's move on to the portion where we actually move this video into the Kifu. All right, at this point now, you can see I'm on the Kifu website, kifu.me, and I have a folder here that has in my case, it's an MOV file. Kifu can handle other types like MP4. I have a single file here, which is the entire match. It ran an hour and 9 minutes. There's some limits to the size of the files you can upload to Kifu. We'll talk about that later. So I'm just going to take this video file. I'm going to click upload here. I have a 7-point match. I'm going to just put in opponent. I'm not going to put the name of the person that I played, and then I'll put my name in there. Oh, look, it remembers me. Okay, and then I'll hit next. And now I'm going to upload the video file. So I've just dragged it over here, and it is uploading the file now. Notice that there are a couple of options. There's normal video, there's time-lapse video. I recorded normal video, but you can record time-lapse if you really like to. Okay, now we don't need to see the file anymore, so let's get rid of that. And we're just going to focus on the Kifu website. It's uploading right now, and this will take a few minutes. I've taken a look at the time, what time it is when I started, and we're not going to sit here and watch this upload. I'm gonna pause, and we'll come back and take a look at it when it's nearly done. And also, if I scroll down a little bit here, it says I've got this box checked off here, auto submit when upload completes. So when my internet connection is done uploading this MOV file, Kifu will automatically start the processing. That is the automatic match transcription. Okay, let's stop for now. We'll come back when the uploading is nearly done. Okay, we're back. It's almost done uploading. We're at 98%. This took me a little under 15 minutes to get this uploaded. I certainly don't sit here and babysit while Kifu is accepting the upload from my computer. You can go on and do something else. Okay, it's uploaded, and now the Kifu website has switched to processing. So what it's doing now is it's doing its behind the scenes stuff where it's going to try to automatically transcribe the match from my match file. Right now it's a little after 10 p.m. and I'm going to stop again and come back when Kifu is done transcribing. Now the good thing is um, I will get an email when Kifu has finished doing the match transcription. I'll get one of two emails. One email will say, we have successfully transcribed your file. Another one, which I used to get when I first started using Kifu, but then I got a lot better at taking the videos. The other email you could get is that your match transcription has failed. I don't get those emails anymore because I've gotten quite a lot better at arranging my videos to carefully arrange the video so that it points at the board. Um, so I'll stop now. We'll come back when we get that email from Kifu that says that the match has been transcribed. Okay, we're back. Kifu is done transcribing the match. It took 13 minutes. It was a 7-point match that lasted 6 games. We're going to take a quick peek now. By the way, I knew it was done 2 ways. The website shows a completed here, but I also got an email telling me that it was done. Okay, I'm going to open this up and take a peek at what we've got. Now I've got some ways of moving through the video, so it gives me a video overlay along with the moves and the dice rolls that it found. Now, as we go through the match file, we're gonna check through this thing. Anytime Kifu highlights something in red, it's something for us to pay attention to. So here it has highlighted the roll, and what Kifu is saying is, I'm not that sure it was a 2-1 that was actually rolled. Here, let's take a peek. I can see the 2-1. It may be hard for you to see in this video, but I can see pretty clearly on my screen that there's a 2-1. So Kifu made a guess, and it was right. It was a 2-1. This is just indicating it's not sure and it's worth taking a look at. If I scroll down for the rest of the plays, Kifu is not unsure about anything, so I don't think I have to worry about anything else in this game. Let's go to game 2. Okay. Looks like there's nothing highlighted here, so nothing for me to look at. All right. Game 3. All right, so we'll go through all of these. Here's one where it wasn't sure. But I think what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and get the game record by email. Now, this is the point at which you actually have to pay something. You have to have tickets, and you have to buy the tickets in advance. I purchased them in bundles of 100. It's 18 US dollars to buy 100 tickets. Each game in the match will cost 1 ticket. And so this match, because it took 6 games, will cost me 6 tickets. And since I'm paying at the rate of $18 per 100 tickets, that really means I'm paying 18 cents per game. So 18 times 6, well, that's pretty cheap, really. What is that? $1.08 for me to transcribe this match? Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to click this, and that's going to use up my 6 of my tickets. You can see right now I have 58 tickets left because I bought 100 previously, and I used 42 of them. I'm about to use 6 more, and it's going to confirm, send the email. We're going to send. There, it's sent, or it's sending. Okay, done. Now I'm down to 52 tickets. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to go to my email and download the attached file. You don't need to see me doing that. And then when I come back, I will have the file open, the text file. Okay, so now I have the text file open. So when Kifu sends you the transcription, it with just an ordinary text file, and that's what I have open on the right side. So now I'm going to go through the match record on Kifu along with having the text file open so that I might have to make some edits. Kifu is not foolproof. There are times in which you will have to edit your text file, and the better your video recording, the fewer edits you'll have to make. All right, so I already looked at this one. This was the 2-1, and I'm confident that Kifu has seen the dice correctly. So let's go ahead and move on to game 2. There was nothing highlighted there that we need to check. So now let's go to game 3. Okay, let's take a look at this one. It's a 5-4. Now this is a little bit difficult for me to see on this screen. I would have it a little bit bigger, but the dice are 5-4. Now I have a couple of ways to check here. I can make this screen a little bit bigger and I can sort of see this, but I also have the native video file that I recorded on my camera. Okay, so that one's okay. No editing needed. Let's go to game 4. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Anytime Kifu says something in red, it's something worth looking at. Now, you'll notice that before, when it lit them up, it had a little outline. A little outline says Kifu would like your attention and maybe this is worth looking at. When it's lit up with a full red like this, Kifu really wants you to look at this. And the reason is here, Kifu is probably not sure what the dice are and thinks it's a 3-1, but needs to double check. Now, when you roll a 3-1 or you roll a 1-1, it's the same number of pips, and so Kifu can get confused. So Kifu checks that out with 3-1 versus 1-1, 2-2 versus 6-2. If Kifu is unsure, it's going to make a note of this. Now, this is the opening roll, so there's no way that a 1-1 can be rolled, but Kifu just wants your attention. I see the 3-1. That's the right roll. Okay, let's go down. Anything more here? Oh, we've got a 5-2 we should check. Now, I can always step through the video a little bit if I need to. Everything looks fine. The roll does look like it was 5-2. Now, sometimes Kifu will light up the actual move, and then you have to check that out. Okay, anything else? No, I don't see anything else. This is looking good. Okay. We're in game 5 here. Nothing. Keep scrolling. Looking for the red stuff. Oh, here's one. Here's a 1-1. Is that really a 1-1? Actually, I have a hard time seeing. I'm going to zoom in on this on the video. Tell you the truth, I cannot tell. I might have to go to my native video to make sure that what this is. The other way, let me sort of step through here. Yeah, I can't really see that. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, this could be what does it think it is? It thinks it's a 1-1, but it could be a 3-1. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is pull up the native video here. Notice that I got a timestamp on here, so this will be pretty easy for me to find. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I'll be back, and we'll have the native video that I've pulled up. Okay, I'm back. I found the native video. I can see much more clearly. This is a 3-1, so Kifu did misread this. So we're going to have to go in and make an edit now. So where are we? They're in game 5, move 30. So I'll scroll down. Here it is, right here. So right after bar 18. Yeah, so this is the 30th move. It says 31. Sometimes the numbering is a little bit off. You have to kind of look around it. So the move is correct, but I have to change the dice roll. And now I'll just save this file. Okay, so we've just run into the first instance of Kifu misreading something, but a manual correct fixed things quite nicely. Okay, that's game 5. Let's go to game 6. This will be our last game, and maybe this will be it. Okay, here's a 1-1. I'm pretty sure that is a 1-1, so we're okay. And then how about at the end here? Here it's highlighted the move. It's not really sure. This is the end of the match. Double twos. Brought everything off. Okay. I think we're good to go. Let's try to import this into XG. Okay, so we'll come back and have XG. Okay, I'm back. I've got XG. Let's try to import now. So I've imported. Now let's double check to make sure that XG is okay with everything. All right, game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5, and game 6. Okay, I think everything looks pretty good. And we can go ahead and analyze the match. And I'll come back and talk about some of the pitfalls that you might run into. This was a pretty easy edit, but there are times when you can run into more complicated things. So, by the way, one of the things I was looking for in here is if XG has a problem with the import, you might see like a red check mark instead of a question mark. With the question mark next to the moves, that just means it hasn't analyzed the position yet. When there's a red check mark, that's an indication that there's an illegal play. Now, there could be an illegal play for a couple of reasons. One could be that you actually made an illegal play in the match, but the other could be that there's just something wrong with the match transcription, and you kind of have to determine what the issue is and take a look at the video to see what's going on. Okay, I'll come back and talk about some more pitfalls and some more suggestions for how you can get the most out of Kifu. Okay, great. We're all done. We've transcribed our match. Let me talk about some of the pitfalls that you should be aware of. If you go to the Kifu website, it gives a lot of best practices. You can go to this URL that gives the documentation for Kifu. It gives a lot of hints about how you can properly record matches. Now, before Kifu came around, I would do a lot of manual transcription of my matches, and I didn't really worry very much about the angle that I would record. I would just set up my camera just in any old direction and not really worry about it. Now I worry about it. I'm much more careful now about getting a good recording that Kifu can handle. I would also suggest that opaque dice are better than translucent dice. In the match that you just saw, I used translucent dice. That's because I happen to have my Taki board with me and I only had the translucent dice. In my FTH board, I have good opaque dice. In fact, I have dice from Galaxy that are matte finish precision dice. I have a few of those, and those work really great with Kifu. I would also suggest that Kifu works a little bit better when you don't use baffle boxes. Now, I like baffle boxes. I use them almost all the time. I find that Kifu can transcribe matches when you play with a baffle box, but it's a little bit harder because the dice all end up on the same side of the board. Just something to be aware of. I would also suggest that you want to use a large doubling cube that has a very clear color contrast with your board. Now, I own a very nice US BGF doubling cube. It's mostly transparent. I think that's not a good choice for Kifu. So, use something with a very bright, vibrant color that contrasts very well with your board. So if you have a blue board, use a red doubling cube. Now, sometimes Kifu gets confused to the point where you might have to delete an entire row in the text file. Now, that's going to make the numbering wrong in the text file. Like you might have move 14 followed by move 16. You don't have to worry about that. When you import that into Extreme Gammon, it just ignores all those numbers. This is a good thing. Sometimes Kifu gets a little bit confused about how many points are won in a game. You might have to edit in the text file how many points are won in the game. By the way, this it can be helpful to set up one of those flip scoreboards next to your board so that when you're recording, you can see what the score is. Kifu's not going to look at that, but you can look at it and know what the score should be. All right, fast grabs. Fast grabs are bad. What is a fast grab? That is when somebody picks up the dice before it's time for them to pick up the dice. All right, I'm going to do a little editorializing. To my backgammon friends, stop fast grabbing. The rules are very clear in all rule sets. You may not touch the dice when it is your opponent's turn, and your opponent's turn is not over until they hit their clock, even if their move is forced. Don't touch the dice when it is not your turn. Kifu can get confused more easily if you or your opponent fast grabs. All right, it's also worth noting that Kifu can only handle video files that are up to 16 gigabytes, which sounds like it's pretty big, but the one that I just recorded now was just under 9 gigabytes, and that was only a 7-point match. What would I do if it's bigger? Well, as it turns out, my camera actually records in small chunks, like 4 gigabyte chunks. So this isn't actually a big problem for me. Kifu will allow you to upload multiple files for a match. Now, if you do find yourself with a camera that records and doesn't split them up into smaller files, and you have files that are bigger than 16 gigabytes, you can use a utility called FFmpeg that will split your files. If you find yourself needing help with this step, please let me know. I can help you out. I've got a few utilities that will automatically run FFmpeg for you and create the split files to help you to upload to Kifu. All right, my final message is that Kifu has just a little bit of a learning curve. You might find yourself needing to spend some time learning best practices. You might do some recordings that are just not very good for Kifu. I'd ask you to hang in there. You are going to save a lot of time with Kifu. The match that I just transcribed in the demonstration, that was a match that I had played earlier in the day. So on the same day, I had a match transcription of the file of the match that I played. You're going to save a ton of time. You will sometimes hear people say, you know what, I think my time transcribing is good for me because I get to see, quote unquote, in real time how what my decision-making process was like and what I did. If that is how you feel like you are processing, go ahead. You should be manually transcribing. But I think that's sometimes for some people that can be a little bit of rationalization. I prefer to spend my time analyzing my match in other ways, not with watching the video. And the last message is the one that I say to everyone, which is have fun, play well, and win. Okay, that's all for now.